When Palpatine was attempting to sway the Jedi Anakin Skywalker to the dark side, he offered him two things that Anakin craved above all: power and knowledge. He told Anakin he could teach him the ways of the dark side and show him how to save his pregnant wife. But after becoming Darth Vader and being severely crippled, we don't ever get to witness Darth Vader undergo any substantial training, so this raises the question, why was Darth Vader's training so limited, and what did Palpatine teach Vader, and in what ways? After his defeat on Mustafar, and after being rebuilt, Vader found his life in the suit maddening. His existence became filled with never-ending pain. This, coupled with his great amount of regret for his life as Anakin Skywalker, not only resulted in a physical change, but a new personality seemed to completely take over. Initially, Vader was left to his own devices to train, his power in the Force still present, but severely limited by his injuries. Vader could feel where his power had been, but he could not touch, and bend what he previously could have. After a short while of personal training, Vader was commissioned by Palpatine to execute the remaining Jedi. Initially, Vader thought himself unprepared, but the prospects of finding his former master Obi-Wan Kenobi drove him forward. In his first post-suit encounter with Jedi, Vader successfully managed to kill 8 Jedi in total, but the battle was long and hard fought. Palpatine, somewhat disappointed with his apprentice's performance, created a rumor Vader had killed 50 Jedi on that day. At first, Vader was frustrated due to his lack of training by Palpatine, but really, all the things he had desired had left him anyway. Instead, Vader began embracing his pain and his cybernetic suit. His immense pain granted the Sith far more power in the dark side than is common, and although his cybernetics were hard to use, he eventually mastered them, as well as using his increased strength and durability to the fullest extent. Although Palpatine was a master duelist, he again refused to teach Vader, so Vader began drilling himself, learning from his mistakes in past battles, and retooling his style completely to play to his strengths. What resulted was a masterpiece of a hybridized lightsaber form. Vader did not use one set form, but took bits and pieces of others that resulted in a style completely unique to himself. During this period, Palpatine for the first time began to see the true potential that still lied with Vader, despite his injuries. Because of this, he did opt to train him, but not in the traditional sense. Palpatine explained that Vader's training as a Jedi was hugely beneficial, and that he had already began to master the dark side, as it was after all an easier practice to pick up than the light. Vader's training as a Jedi had taught him to duel, and his rage made his power in the Force substantial. Instead of repeating that, Palpatine opted to train Vader with tests, sending him on missions, both combatively related and otherwise. Vader continued hunting down the remaining Jedi, which honed his skills a great deal, but Palpatine also began sending Vader on more political missions to test his skills as a negotiator, and to show him the way of the Sith was not always to crush one's enemies, but sometimes stab them through the back. Initially, what began as not training Vader out of spite turned into fear, as Palpatine witnessed Darth Vader truly had become more powerful than he had imagined following his injuries. Palpatine witnessed others create monsters and cyborgs designed specifically to defeat Vader, and time again, Vader conquered them. Palpatine witnessed Vader be crushed and seemingly killed, surviving for days only using his own hatred and the dark side, and an act, I may add, surprised Palpatine himself a great deal. Because of this, Palpatine began purposefully holding power and knowledge back from Vader. With Dooku and Maul, he had always known he was more powerful than them. With Dooku, he realized he was never intended to be a permanent apprentice. And after Mustafar, Palpatine one day intended to toss Vader aside too, but this Sith would not die, and would not be defeated. Realizing this, and the power the Chosen One still commanded, Palpatine thought back to the words he had said long ago. Choose someone as a successor, and you will inevitably be succeeded. Choose someone hungrier than you, and you will be devoured. Choose someone quicker, and you won't dodge the blade at your back. Choose someone with more patience, and you won't block the blade at your throat. Choose someone quicker, and you won't dodge the blade at your back. Choose someone with more patience, and you won't block the blade at your throat. Choose someone more devious, and you'll hold the blade that kills you. Choose someone more clever, and you'll never know your end. Despite these cautions, an apprentice is essential. A master without an apprentice is a master of nothing. It is an apprentice's duty to learn all that he can from the master, and the master's right to refrain from revealing all of his secrets. Palpatine never ended up teaching Vader abilities like Force Lightning simply because he was not capable of it, but now he saw Vader progressing even without his aid. In this period, Vader had truly grasped his power and his new suit, and began searching for knowledge for himself since his master seemed unwilling to share his. Vader would go on to discover powerful artifacts and holocrons, and learn several new Force abilities of his own. In the end, Palpatine barely trained Vader because he had already attained much of the abilities he required to combat the Jedi on his own. Also, Vader was simply a natural for the dark side. As stated earlier, the whole existence of Anakin Skywalker was nearly obliterated as Vader quite literally became a new person. Vader was fueled by the mistakes of Anakin, but he was no longer that man. In many ways, Vader never acquired deeper training from Palpatine, and after the first several years as his apprentice, he stopped asking to be trained. Vader was similar to his Legends grandson Jacen Solo. He had all the pieces and knowledge set in place, but required the necessary doors to be opened to fully embrace them. This is what Jacen Solo's own Sith Master said to him. "Are there techniques to teach me?" Not techniques as much as awareness. Technique is for apprentices. You know all you need to know. It's within you. You have to become aware of it and embrace it. Now that we've explained it, I'd love to hear your opinion on this. Do you think that Palpatine was right and justified by this, or do you think that he should have trained Vader? And what do you think Vader would look like if he had undergone the training? If you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like, as it helps the channel out a great deal. If you have any video suggestions or topics, you can follow me on Twitter at StupendousWave. If you haven't already, maybe consider subscribing to ensure you stay up to date with everything Star Wars related. Thanks so much for watching, may the Force be with you, and have a great day.